Hey, thank you for joining us for this week in Jacksonville Business Edition. We are talking about real estate this episode, and I'm really excited about this. The D&L Butts team is the realty group that we're talking about, but that's Dave and Lesley Butts. And yes. I appreciate this. We got together a couple months ago, we met, and then we started talking about this. Hey, here's our idea. And kind of the depth of your experience and the passions that you have for what's going on in real estate in our area, and maybe even specific to Clay County. I thought this is something we want to share with our audience. So Lesley, I'm going to give you the softball here.
Okay.
Why don't you just tell us about the group, your experience, what you guys do. What is D&L Butts team?
So
I thought it was the softball, right? Yeah, just tell me about you and what you guys do. Lesley told me she's a little nervous. I said, there's nothing to be nervous about.
Yeah.
Let's just have a visit.
Yeah, so he retired 30 years, or we retired 30 years, Navy. So we wanted to do something together, and this let us be together all the time. We are passionate about our military families, being that we are one as well, and we know some of the struggles and everything that military families go through. So we wanted to incorporate all that, and
I love that. So how
just
long
be
ago
together.
Was that? Yeah, how long ago was that? Because as I understand your story, you didn't wait until after, Dave, you said, okay, I'm signed off and now I'm a civilian. You guys kind of started this anticipating what was going to happen with retirement.
We had that. We had the discussion, like, what are we going to do post-military, post a retirement? And the time separated, it's a hard struggle all the families go through, military families. So it was about 4 years before we put in our retirement papers, and we started it as going to the school, getting the real estate license and all that on the weekends.
Yep.
And we built that, our customers and a relationship with the community, and we found that when the day came retirement, the next day we were putting for sale signs and homes in front of homes and meeting more families.
You guys made it kind of seamless, that transition.
We
right?
did, sir. We did. Yes, we did, Ken. It was incredible. We were truly blessed in the fact that just our experiences rolled right over to where there's a need. There's a need for ambassadors to help families move into the area. And Jacksonville being so green, it's so large.
And a military town at that, too.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it was truly seamless.
Yeah.
So I've read some of how you market yourself to folks, and you're calling yourselves military relocation experts. Well, yeah, because you probably had to do that a bunch in your life, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we moved several times, so we know the complexities of it. We understand the struggles. And there's a lot that goes into it because you've got you're looking, especially if you have little ones, you're looking at the school systems, you're looking at neighborhoods. People may not know or be familiar with the certain neighborhoods or the state, because we do a lot of out-of-state moves as well, like from the video. They just see their house from a video. Wow. That's all they get to do because they're too busy, they're moving. So we give them lots of resources, and we'll drive around neighborhoods and show them what it looks like. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
Did you guys ever have to do that? Did you ever have to decide I'm moving to that place because I saw a video of where I was moving into?
So honestly, and then we would phone ahead, or we'd have some form of sponsorship program. And these realtors, what we found, were never really truly caring about what, she was leaving a job, getting a new job started, our children leaving their schools, getting a new school started. They were always like, okay, we're gonna get paid this. If I sell them this house, I'm gonna make this commission off it. And then we're gone after that. So we moved to Key West, we moved from state to, we went to Washington State. So, we were talking not just out of her element. Yeah. She never saw snow before.
Literally on the other side of the country from where we're at here in Florida.
Yep.
Right. State of
Born
Washington.
and raised in Florida. I've never seen snow until we moved to Washington.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really, so we found that basic, that niche, that need. And it's so important to have like I stated earlier, ambassador, somebody who puts the family first. And that's one of our core values is we understand the struggles and we put the family first.
Yeah, it takes me back because in the TV industry, especially younger in your career, you're moving a lot. And you mentioned that. I remember back in the 90s, before we were going to go to a website and pull up a video or whatever. I had a buddy at a TV station say, hey, you guys are moving out here, you and your wife. Let me go take some, camcorder video, and I'll send you the tape in the mail. And hey, okay, that looks good. We'll move in there. Thankfully, technology has taken us a little farther than that. But as we talk today, I appreciate hearing some of your story. You just explained what some of your priorities are. I know we were going to talk about some of really two big elements here: the military influence on Jacksonville's real estate, and then I want to get into some of the Clay County's growth and the development that's happening there. Let's talk first on that military influence side of the equation here. What are some of the core things that are happening? Because we do have two naval bases here. We've got Marines at Blunt Island. We've got the National Guard station in St. Augustine. Obviously, there's a big influx of members of the military, and then folks who say, yeah, now I'm separated from service, but I'm still staying here in the region.
And retirement, some large retirement area.
Yeah.
Well, there's another large, you talk about the Air Force, talk about the Marines and the Navy. Well, we have Camp Blanding. We have an incredibly large Army facility, National Guard facility.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is there's a constant housing demand, right? When you PCS, permanent change of station, which is what we've done.
It's always helpful for the civilian when you explain the acronym.
Exactly.
So the PCS,
yeah. So, and you hear VA, PCS, and all that. So the PCS part of it, it's goes to the fiscal calendar, right? Here, the money, the government gives all the money out at the end of the fiscal year in October. So you see an influx of October of all these people who are getting orders moving. And when do you want to move? You want to move in June. So the family to get their children in school. So there's always a constant, robust amount of people leaving and coming in, right? And PCSing, permanent change of station, in Jacksonville. So that's why we've excelled at both the buying and selling. Is we prep our families how to sell their home to get the most money out of it, and we prep our families of what to look for via the videos and dealing with other stations, other camps, other facilities around the nation when it comes to the different branches. So Lesley,
with
the VA
moving
loans.
companies, the VA loans.
Is that something people need guidance with? In
Understanding
terms of,
it.
Understanding. A lot of people don't realize that when you get, I'm not an expert, I'm not a lender, but I do know by experience that, a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna buy this house, I need this huge down payment. Well, when you're a VA, unlike other loan types, you don't have a down payment. You just have closing costs and stuff like that. But that's what a lot of people don't understand. So we're here to guide them through that process, to give them our knowledge, and then to connect them with our lenders or our other resources that we have.
How does the military presence in our region, how does that affect real estate? Because you just talked about, hey, there's always going to be people coming in, maybe staying or changing out. Is there a positive or a negative impact on the real estate market because of that?
Incredibly positive, positive. Anywhere there's a station or a camp or a base, all the development around that, the surrounding areas, is constantly improving. The change, the infrastructure, the amount of people, like NAS Jacksonville, with its the growth, the P-8 aircraft, the going down south into Clay County, Green Cove Springs, all the new neighborhoods to facilitate all the growth of the bases.
Yeah.
So it's a huge positive impact.
Okay.
Huge.
Yeah, I'd say it's very positive.
Rental opportunities, what is that like? And obviously some of the members of our military who are coming to town are planning on, this is my 2 years and then I'm going to be gone. So I don't want to buy yet, I want to rent. Do you encounter that?
Oh yeah, we get that a lot. And it has to do with them either not wanting to stay here or
They
they've
just
got
don't
to.
know it yet.
Yeah, or they got to.
They don't know the area.
They don't know the area, and a lot of them. What we see a lot of is a lot of them want to move here, get familiar with the area, and make sure they want to stay here before they make such a big commitment into buying a home.
And that goes with having the ambassadorship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they choose, okay, we'll do a short-term rental, but we always get a phone call within a couple months.
Yeah.
They're like, okay,
end up loving it.
you put us in the right spot. This is amazing. The parks, the neighborhood, the people we live around.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we want to buy. So we know that it's a short-term, idea for that transition period. We understand that. But we know that Jacksonville, in all its glory, that they'll end up buying.
So I want to talk about this because what you're leaning into about the ambassadorship. So you grew up in the area.
In Green Cove, yep.
You didn't.
No.
But
No.
you both are pretty passionate about this is a great place to live. Is
Yeah,
that
I
right?
love it. I love it. I can remember when Green Cove was like nothing, and now it's like exploding with houses everywhere. And every time I go, we drive through there or something, I'm like, it's crazy with all the growth.
Because you remember when it wasn't.
I
that
remember when
way.
it was nothing. There was a movie theater in Green Cove, and that was the biggest thing that we had to do. And I rode my bike to that. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
So there's a good example of what Leslie's in her lifetime. Shands Bridge is currently what's going over
That's Route 16 across to St. Johns County to Clay County, right?
the only way to get across.
Yeah.
Well, Leslie will go tell you when it was wood, right? Back in the day when her parents.
yeah.
You mean you
well,
saw pictures? Is that what you?
Yeah. And we used to fish off of it and stuff like that.
Really?
But
No,
yeah.
seriously, there's like a
Yeah.
crazy. But then you see the Shands Bridge now, and then you see the St. John's Bridge. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's crazy with the growth. It's absolutely, every time we pass by, it's like something else.
Well, let's talk about some of that growth then. When it comes to Clay County, we know on the other side of the river, St. John's, we keep talking about how much that's growing, but that's happening at a different level in Clay County right now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
You look at the population. 2020, Clay County in the whole was 230,000 roughly. Now at the end of 2025, it's at 250,000. So the amount of people is reflective of the growth of housing, how much they need affordable housing. People right now in Clay County, they're making these new developments, agro hoods. Now you did a segment on the agro hoods, and you did a fantastic job showcasing it. But I want people to understand they're building in one agro grow, right? Agro grow. This family is selling off 31,000 acres. And it's going to be 4,000 homes. It is going to be a small town. When you go back 10 years ago, they had Fleming Island, and there was a Fleming Island city being built, right? A township, or however you want to word it. So we didn't buy in. We should have bought in then, right? But we didn't understand what Fleming Island was going to be. It's an amazing community. Yeah. Restaurants, high-end restaurants, a movie theater, like we talked about that.
Yeah.
And the homes are just absolutely, the golf course is probably one of our favorite golf courses, the Golf Cat.
Yeah.
But that's what's the next step is this agro hoods.
Yeah.
They're going to have water and
briefly explain what that idea is,
Sure.
agro hoods.
So the properties, that isn't going to be a cookie cutter home. If you leave, like literally, these are properties that are going to be larger than normal. They're going to have a importance of just trees.
A town within itself.
Yeah, the amount of actual foliage and water and creeks and rivers, that's the most important part of it. It's about the agricultural, keeping that kind of green atmosphere and still having a Fleming Island, what we know of now, or oak leaf.
Right.
Yeah. What would you say key factors are for some of the growth that's really kind of exploding there in Clay County?
Well, obviously the greatest thing that they can, the First Coast Expressway.
That's true.
That
Yeah.
connects 10.
Yeah.
That will be what you're talking about, the Shands Bridge, going back to that with the St.
A
John's
lot
Bridge.
shorter commutes for everyone once it all
That
gets
makes a difference,
established.
right?
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, you're sitting like back in the before even the main roads, the 4-lane. Blanding was a 2-lane road. Now it's a 4-lane road,
Yep.
right? 218 going across. You'd go down to the Clay County Fair and it was 2 lanes, right? But now with all that growth, all those homes, all that all the farms, you're seeing a commute from. We live in Fox Meadow Equestrian Estates, which is in Middleburg. Right now, it takes us an hour and about an hour and a half, depending on traffic, to get to St. Augustine. We're looking at a commute that's going to change it to us to about 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's
Because of some of that infrastructure changes and improvements there.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah,
It's
First Coast
interesting
Expressway.
because we're talking about the bridge there across the St. Johns River, And it's 8 years ago, I think, when the state of Florida kind of connected with, we've got some federal money coming in, let's do this. And those infrastructure changes, they take a little time. But it's got to be fun if you're interested in seeing the growth. It's got to be fun to see, okay, it's finally happening, and imagine what those changes will mean to something like the commute or how long it takes me to get from point A to point B when that's what I got to go.
People put in their mind, before the 9A and 9B, it was just 95. And if you lived in St. John's trying to get it downtown, right? That was a bumper to bumper,
a pain in the keister is what that
pain
was.
in the keister. That's the best way to phrase it. But then they saw that 9A and 9B, and it just alleviated all of it. Bay Meadows and St. Getting to the beaches a lot faster. Well, that's what they're experiencing now. They're experiencing growth. Like some people, like during your when you're covering it, they talk about, well, the growth we need. We're worried about losing our green area. We're losing our farmland. But in reality, because of the agri-hoods and the way that Clay County cares about its people first, and they care about the keeping that small town feel, they're just going to have a faster road. Like literally, they're just going to have this amazing expressway and the St. John's Bridge, which is going to bring all that more money. Maritime, down the river. So people in Palatka are going to positively, Putnam County is going to blow up next. So Clay County is leading. We're the fastest growing county in the state of Florida. St. John set the standard, and I think we're going to exceed it. I think when they built Nocatee and they see that gem, I truly believe that our new agri-hoods are going to be the pinnacle of Florida, Northeast Florida, and anybody in Clay County will be the premier land, premier area, the premier schools. We already have A+ schools in Clay County and leading the state in most, if not all, but in most areas. So that having a township, another one, just shows, with the building of the stadium, right? Let's put in perspective what Jacksonville's going through. Our new $2 billion stadium, which we voted for because it's going to be amazing. We're season ticket holders of the Jaguars. Go Jags. But everything's growing positively. It's green. We're expanding. We're bringing money in. And I think collectively we're all going to be in an amazing place where we're not looking back. I wish I'd have bought property 10 years ago. Now we're pushing to buy it now, because you're going to see it immediately.
Dave and Lesley Butts are our guests today. So part of what we're talking about here, you're talking about this growth here. How does that impact pricing when it comes to Clay County properties or homes? And I know we wanted to talk it's both on the residential and the commercial side. We've seen this bump in the last several years. Boy, property values went up. And then there's a little settling. Where do property values stand right now in terms of Clay County residential or commercial?
Clay County, Jacksonville, Clay County, the median home value is about $275,000 to $350,000, right? $275,000. Versus 2020, when Clay County median values were at $160,000. So there's
Yeah, that's a bump.
Correct. Double the increase of values. And Jacksonville is the same thing. So Clay County isn't the forgotten about west side of Jacksonville. We're the premier area. So Jacksonville is at, the median values are at $375,000. We're only short by a little bit, $350,000. So buying into Clay County is absolutely, this is the best time.
Yeah.
Tell me about this this project that you pointed out to me, this development is the Agricola property. So this is south of Green Cove Springs, is this right? Tell me about
right
this.
Off 17.
I'm not familiar with it yet.
So it's a new development. They're going to have 4,000 residential units, including townhomes, multifamily homes, and they're going to have 3 schools in the town within.
David, is this what you were referencing earlier?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so that's called
Agricola. Agricola was a family that sold it, and this is going to be Agricola neighborhood.
Okay.
But, which is, you guys deemed the phrase agri-hoods. And there's 2 right now that are established.
Leslie, I didn't mean to cut you
Oh,
off.
no,
but
no,
I
no,
thought,
it's
wait
fine.
a second.
Yeah.
David just talked about this.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's something that's just
Connecting
like
the
it's
dots
a
over here.
pinnacle of where we're at right now.
Well, I like the fact that it's going to have the 3 on-site schools because there's so much growth right now. And what I think and what I've heard other people say is we're just lacking the schools to keep up with all the growth. And I mean, that's hard. So, you know.
But I want to take it in another direction with Clay County. Keystone Heights. People familiar with Keystone said the lakes are all dried up, right? Well, Clay County, working with St. Johns County, with all the different utilities, Jacksonville JEA, they've actually came up with a Black Creek water resource project, which has taken the water from the Black Creek, which everybody knows, living by Black Creek, it floods.
It floods. Yep.
Right? It's taken water, rainwater, from the Black Creek, and they're channeling it to the Keystone Heights for the Lake Brooklyn and Lake Geneva. So, in this project, what those families that have had to suffer the lakes, that watched it go all the way down, almost dried up, right? You see those docks that are 25, 50
Yeah, it's
foot
crazy.
to go nowhere, right? They're out of the water. Well, with this, the Black Creek Water Resource Project, all that water is coming back. So those homes that were like, we're the forgotten about, they are not. They are just as on the upswing, the buildup, as Green Cove. Everybody still thinks that Green Cove is where it's all, that's where all the attention is. No. Keystone Heights, you go south of there, into Putnam County. It's one of the things I'm truly proud of our elected officials in Clay County is they chose us first. Like, this money is going to every one of those families that are on Lake Geneva, that are on Lake Brooklyn. They're gonna feel the rewards from this and benefit the reward. Like a beach again, right? In the summertime, boats going around, the fishing, bring all that back.
And the property values that go back.
And then it all goes to the property values.
Leslie and David, somebody's listening right now and they're like, well, that makes sense. Too much water in one place, not enough water in the other. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, because that's the first place that floods.
Yeah, yeah, right. Which we all know, right?
Yeah.
Because we see it during, a little extra rain. We're like, oh boy,
Yes.
we're going to have a flood.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up here. What's the best time to buy, and specific to your experience and what you're coaching people through when they come to you and are talking about this? Now?
Now, I would say now. I know the interest rates are not what they were.
7% or whatever.
Five,
yeah, right?
what, 5 pre-COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's more negotiations. You get as far as like buying.
Yeah, so we do negotiations. The market, it goes by how many months of inventory we have. Well, we've actually increased we went from 3 or the end of last year, now we're at 6 months inventory. So it's a stable inventory. That means there's plenty of houses out there. And people still need to sell. So what they're doing is, because of that inventory and it being a buyer's market, interest rates, it's harder for them to sell in this kind of a situation. So what they're doing is they offer concessions. They offer concessions to help you when you purchase a home of buying the points down. So your interest rates are lower. Or they take some of that money and they lower the price of the home. Or they do additions, whatever you want. This is the time you've got all the negotiation
So you're
power.
saying this is buyer's market.
Mm-hmm.
How do you determine the difference? Hey, I got to
There's
sell
more
my home
inventory.
before I buy over there, so am I just in a bad spot either way, or what?
No, so if you go back to 2017 and you try to sell or if you try to buy a home, you would go to an open house and there'd be 60 cars there and
Yes.
60 realtors,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, I will give you my car if you allow me to sell this house, right?
Well, because the interest rates were great too then, but
Sure.
you had
Yeah, a lot better.
60 other people that you were competing with for this one house, and the inventory was nothing like it is now.
So they wouldn't do repairs, right?
Yeah.
Well, they don't have to. They didn't
Don't have to.
Yeah, they didn't have
Right.
to offer other concessions.
Right.
So they're like, look, take it as this. Well, now it's a buyer's market because the inventory is a 6-month inventory. You can ask for everything. You can negotiate the price and get a price reduction. You can get a pool service, something that you would never ask for. Now's the time. And what do you do? And I'm not a banker, we're not lenders, but what you do is in whenever the rates level back out, which they will, whenever, however the current market is, or the current political field is, it'll mellow out. When it does, you just get it refinanced. So you reap all the benefits right now, all the rewards of getting all those concessions, getting everything paid
Not
for.
fighting 60 other people for that one house.
You get
I mean,
to
that was
pick
crazy.
The property you want. You get to be picky. This is the time.
Yeah,
This is the time to
I
buy.
agree.
We're part of the local B&I group, Gold Rush B&I, and every week when we have our meetings, I tell them, anybody you know that's on the fence of buying, right now, call me, call our office, right? Because it starts off with, we can put you and your family first, and you get to pick where in Jacksonville, because it's a big market.
It is.
Where in Jacksonville? Do you want to live at the beaches? We got homes at the beaches. You want to live on the west side? You want to live on the farms? We got homes on the farms. We are the Clay County real estate experts, and we are the military relocation experts. But we are part of JPAR City and Beach. We sell homes Yulee, St. John,
All Northeast Florida.
Yeah.
all over.
Yeah.
Clay County, Nassau County.
That is a large area.
Yeah,
to
large
try
market.
and-
Yeah.
It's funny though, like the beaches, we are just as fond of getting families to the beach as we are as
Yeah.
get them in the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, we'll wrap up here, but I knew that we were going to have a good conversation. I loved the energy and again, the passion for being the ambassador for living and buying and staying in this region, because as we've experienced in different fashions growing up here and moving here, thank you, military, me coming for a job, I mean, it's a great stinking place to live.
We love it.
It just
Amazing.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is fantastic. So the D&L Butts team, David and Lesley, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Kent.
Appreciate it. And thank you for joining us. I'm Kent Justice, your host for This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition. And a reminder, wherever you find our podcast, go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow. New episodes come out every Thursday at 9 a.m.